So I've got my furnace built, I've got my burner built, I'm ready to melt some metals, but I'm not 100% ready yet. The reason for that is I'm going to be putting a crucible inside the furnace. It's going to get up, you know, to 1500 degrees, and I need to be able to pick it up out of that and then be able to hold it to pour it and melt it. So today I'm going to build some tools to do just that. So I'll take you quickly through the process of how I do that, fairly quick. At the end, we're going to do my very first melt ever in my new furnace, melting of something other than pewter. I'm going to melt some aluminum. So join me and we'll see how this turns out.
On my mind, so sailing with hope and you were sure I couldn't agree that we were meant to be, but our love is what they talk about in movies. Our love is what they talk about, yeah, we were wild and free, and you know everything about me, so wild and free, and you know everything about me, 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 you know everything about
Okay, I bent things around and now they fit a lot better. And the important thing, I can now pick up my crucible.
Let the
loop, and I'll set my crucible down there. This will hold it and let me pour it. I didn't show the process of making this, but it's pretty simple. This is for scraping out the slag. I just took a scrap piece of the steel, rounded off the end a little bit, and just welded it to this rod. That way I can reach in and stir or scrape the slag off of the melted metals. All right, there they are, my furnace tools for melting metals, for handling my crucible in the hot forge, or the hot furnace. So finally, it's time to try melting some metal. I'm going to start by melting aluminum. I've got a lot of scrap aluminum, so that's the first thing I'm going to try. All right, I'm about to do my first ever melt. I've got my crucible here filled with a bunch of scrap aluminum. My furnace is ready to go with my burner. So I found as I was trying this that every time even when I have my burner on all the way and I put the lid on the furnace, then the flame goes out. It's basically not getting enough oxygen. So what I discovered is that if I put this little blower fan there in the back to blow more air in through the back, then it works just fine. I assume that maybe the diameter of my burner pipe is probably too small, either that or it's too long, something like that. It just doesn't get enough oxygen pulled in. So let's get this thing lit up and see how it goes. Ready to pour, so I'm gonna prepare for that. First thing I've done here is I've sent my steel tools by the mouth of the furnace so that they'll get warmed up a bit. I don't want the cold steel to touch the red hot crucible and cause it to crack, so keep these a little preheated. These are the molds I'm going to be using. I've got this little graphite ingot mold and these muffin tin. So I'm going to use the torch to preheat those and get them ready. You want your molds to be warm, hot, preheated before you pour into it, so you can get a nice smooth finish on your ingot and so that it continues to pour well. Okay, the first thing I'm going to do before I pull that out to pour it is I've got this little tool. I'm going to scrape the top off. I'm going to scrape the slag out the best that I can. Now the slag sticks to the stick as you pull it out, but it pops right off. So all the impurities just float on the top of the aluminum. See? And I just do this, dump it out. Join it. there we are. Molten aluminum in these ingots. We'll let it cool down, and then we'll dump them out. Man, that's fun, and they look so good. Okay, these have cooled down for just a couple of minutes. I believe they're done. There we go. Nice. Cool puck. These need to cool down a little bit more. They'll shrink a little bit as they cool, and then they'll pop out. That was really fun. Altogether, it only took about 15 minutes for the furnace to get up, or for the first batch of aluminum to melt. So that's pretty good. I hope that I can get it hot enough to do copper. That's my goal. If you can do copper, you can do most of the metals that you want to do. Copper melts at like 1900 degrees Fahrenheit. Gold and silver are less than that, and brass, bronze, those things are all, right in the same neighborhood. So my goal is to do copper. I'll be trying that again in the future. But for now, thanks for joining us. Thanks for joining me, and I hope to see you on the next video. Don't forget to leave a thumbs up, leave a like if you liked the video. Also, feel free to subscribe if you want to see other videos. I don't just do metalworking stuff. This is just what I'm doing right now. But you can see on my channel that I've done different art projects and Halloween things and building things. I do a lot of stuff. So subscribe if you're interested in that stuff. Appreciate you watching. Bye.